It's the Standard Group. It's the largest media house in Eastern Central Africa. And that's why the CEO is not just called a CEO, it's called Group CEO. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to introduce you to the Group CEO of the Standard Group PLC. Her name is Marion Mwangi. Marion, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Very good, thank you.
Welcome to the hot seat of the Situation Room.
It actually feels like a hot seat right now. Yeah.
Does it?
Well, it does. It's pink, really.
That's what happens to hot things.
Yeah.
They have a different color.
For sure.
But it's going to be a very engaging conversation. Second thing that CT is going to do is now give you the day's proverb. Every week, CT goes to one African country. He mines proverbs from that country and he brings us a proverb a day.
Yes.
So for the last 3 weeks, this being the third week, he said he is going to landlocked countries of Africa. For example, Uganda is a landlocked country, Marion. Which other landlocked country would you think of?
Botswana, I live there.
Aha, Botswana.
Yeah.
We were in Botswana last week.
Yes, we were in Botswana last week.
This week we are in?
We are in the Central African Republic. Unlike other African countries, they want you to be clear about who they are. They are not the Republic of Central Africa. They've cleared that one. They've told you, Central African Republic. They're not in West Africa. They've told you they're in Central Africa.
Yeah.
So there's no mistaking where they are. Central Africa Republic. Whose capital is Bangui. Someone told me it's not pronounced Bangui, as I'm saying.
Bangi.
It's pronounced Bangi.
Bangi. And you said the country used to be called what?
The country.
Kunywa Bangi or something.
You know, Eric, sometimes you make me believe that there's very little hope of getting to understand things, but it's called Ubangi Shari.
See? Bangi na chai. It used to be called Ubangi Shari.
Ubangi Shari. Then they got the first prime minister who felt, there's a bit of a mouthful, guys, come on. Central African Republic. But at that point in time, there were some expansionist ideas he had that, they could extend beyond the boundaries that we now have.
Right.
Very wealthy country. Uranium, cobalt, gold. But in terms of the Human Development Index, that's a global index, when you look at where they stand, out of 193 countries, they're 191. So they're not doing too badly from the bottom. Yes, and it is also known to be the worst possible country on the planet that a young person can live in.
Jeez Louise.
The youth here think there's no hope. Go to Central African Republic. Not my view. That's the Human Development Index. All this wealth, and they're poor. But the thing about them that makes them unique, they were once an empire. It lasted only 3 years or so, but at least they were an empire for 3 years, and they even had an emperor.
All right, how about that?
Yeah. Yes, so they're a fairly unique country.
Kabisa.
Yes.
Proverb.
The proverb for today. If, indeed, the sun claims to have power over the moon, let it shine at night.
If the sun claims to have power over the moon, let it shine at night. Tuone. What's your interpretation of that proverb, Marion?
I think that everything has its place, and you must occupy your place at the right time, and not occupy it at the wrong time. I should actually listen to this thing in the morning. Then I would have, sort of thought about
leakage.
it. Yeah,
some 2 hours to prepare.
94.4
good one.
Had leakage. Yeah, but everything in its place. A place for everything in its place. I'm a Kaizen practitioner, so I'll just go for PEEP. Place for everything in its place.
Fine. The interpretation is good. You understood the proverb well. Yes.
It's a very good one.
Yeah.
Now, this is employee interviewing the employer. Tell us about yourself. Yeah. So, Marion, tell us about yourself. Who is Marion? Okay, you've risen and done very many things by the time you got the appointment to be the GCEO of the Standard. Where were you before this? And what have you been up to?
Actually, this is day 7. Unlike what you may think, this is just day 7, and it's quite an early time to come to the studio. But I thought, let me come in and recognize people who have been here before me, especially the women who have led and nurtured me. through my career. Before I came, I was in South Africa actually, working for the biggest oxygen and engineering company in the world, the Linde Group, producing anything you can think about in the periodic table: light gases, hard gases, argon to helium. And I think you remember that 2 years ago when we had the COVID crisis, I stood along the CS of Health just trying to save Kenya from running out of oxygen. So we also produce medical oxygen. And you cannot live your life. I mean, we talk about health today. You cannot live your life well if you're ill without purified oxygen, a raw material you find in the air, but in concentrations that you can use. But I came from that background, worked there for 2 years in South Africa, but 4 here, 6 years doing gas production, turnaround work in production processes, and trying to center the needs of the customer ahead of the engineering solutions. Because we engineers, I don't know about journalists, but engineers are experts in what they do. But at the end of the day, you have to see value from the eyes of the customer. So that's 6 years. And before that, I did a couple of things. I was managing director of Cadbury after Jane Karuku, which is the first woman I want to honor. She's been an amazing mentor. And coming after her made it just easier to lead as a woman in manufacturing of food, chocolate, these things people enjoy.
Always good.
Always good. And I've then served in different companies for 1,000 days on purpose. I've got the 1,000 day principle bedded down in practice and in reality. So I don't know what I'm saying
It's
about
interesting.
1,000 days.
What's 1,000 days?
Yeah, what's 1,000 days?
Yes.
Yeah, 1,000 days.
Yes.
So what does that mean?
Tell us about it.
That in 1,000 days, you can make a big impact. You can influence decisions. You can influence a company or parts of a company that are not doing so well. And then after 1,000 days, if you feel that you're doing the same thing every day and not getting excitement, or you're not being triggered, or you're not meeting your mission, then you need to move and do the next 1,000 days, inside where you are or outside. I think it's a very well documented principle. You would know about it, City.
Let me say I've read about it.
Yes.
Whether I understand it fully is a different matter.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I have read about it.
Good.
Yes.
So if you see that my career has a couple of places that I've been. I worked in Bayer for 15 years, but 1,000 days every time in different roles. And you here have maybe your 1,000 days every time you meet a new person. So you've got excitement and variety in your work. But as a general manager, as a CEO, I've found it quite valuable to see success within 1,000-day landscape and then restart another 1,000 days.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
How do you feel the 1,000 days? Because I'm sure you're not just counting physical 1, 2, 3, 4 until 1,000. There's also something else that's happening to you. How do you feel the 1,000 days? Do you feel that you're, getting to a plateau in terms of your performance, in terms of your enjoyment of the job? What is it that will define the 1,000 days beyond the calendar?
Actually, let me disappoint you. Actually, count them. So this is day 7.
So number one,
but,
count.
But in the first 6 months or in the first 3 months, you get into a situation and understand what is that business and what value that business offer. So you sort of write off the first few, not write off, but use the first few days to do deep planning and go to the place. I'm here because I'm looking for deep planning. And then after that, just structure. What exactly do you want the end state to look like? The next 3 years, what are those things that you want to see? So when you establish a baseline within the first 3 to 6 months, and then you monitor those until the 3 years, because 1,000 days is about 3.5 years, and then check whether that's come along nicely, and before the 1,000 days, reestablish new ones. It's a personality that accepts 1,000 days, and other people want to do long endless vocations. I just found, and I was taught by my father actually, these 1,000 days, that it really, really keeps me excited and keeps me at the heart of people, processes, and improvement.
Right.
Actually, it works two ways. Right from the time you're born, experts say that 1,000 days and the manner in which the mother and the child are nourished more or less determines how it is that child will grow. And then when that child is now born again in that child's life, the building blocks of that child's life and the foundation on which that child is going to be or what they're going to turn out to be are actually also built within that 1,000 days.
Yes.
Yes. So the 1,000-day principle is actually very profound in your life as a human being.
Absolutely. And that's where it started, actually.
Yes.
The brain forms within that 1,000
Yes.
days. And that's why it's important to just have that nurturing time.
Yeah. Do the elements matter? Because with every new 1,000 days, there are different elements that are playing out. Whether it's in a business where you have not practiced before, or in a business where you have been for a previous 1,000 days, there are people, there are processes, there are historic issues. How do those play out to then help you traverse that particular landscape?
Everything matters, and everything and every industry is so different and so unique. Media especially, I didn't actually think about what industry it would be. I just knew that I would like to be in a platform that impacts and influences a large amount of people towards the things that matter, towards values and as we say here, the voice of the people. So I'm really, this is a different industry altogether. And there's a big advantage of not knowing in the beginning, because then there's fresh eyes and there's a perspective that you draw from facts. So you've seen I've gone all the way down and I've come and I've showed up in Nick 2 in this Gemba, in this area, afraid but still here, to just learn this industry from the depths of it. And if I start the funny stories about the warnings that I've been told about this industry, or the encouragement from very few, makes me think, actually, I want to know. I mean, let's see. I'm boarding this bus anyway. I'm inside.
Tell
Where
us,
it's going.
what have you been told?
Media is difficult. Media is puts you there in you get known by a lot of people, and that has risks, and the standard group, I don't know, and that will be men. That will be men mostly.
Oh yeah,
who say,
you can do it.
No. Could you tell us what is your strategy? And I haven't started really, but thank God I'm here with you, so that I can know that there's something that we'd never lose as women, and that's hope, and carrying people along. So I have been told many things. Don't ask me again, because I might reveal.
No. The beautiful thing about saying the things you've been told is the same thing that happens when we, as media practitioners or people who are in the business of media, do. We talk about things. And the perspective and the breadth of what we talk about, there is no limit to it. Yes, so what you've done right now is you've just jumped right into it. And that is the way this thing rolls. Yes.
Right, yeah, right.
And Marion, to have open conversations, obviously, you talk about the media landscape in Kenya and look at how the media has, changed around the world. And then looking at the Standard Group, which is a very public conversation in terms of how things have been. And of course, from what you're saying, somebody would ask the question, why would you then take on such a challenge? And that's the thing. Why would you take on a challenge? Because it is currently a challenging situation. Why would you do that? And how then do you intend to traverse it?
I would, because it's right down my personal mission to impact society, to help improve the lives of people and communities and individuals as persons. So that's really a personal mission. But I would, because there's 1,000 odd people who you can multiply by 7 that are in this organization. There's more than 120 years heritage in this these walls. Our archives are just amazing. When I went down there, I thought every company that has started in Kenya has a story written by the Standard Group. So there's some pride. I'm Kenyan. I've lived in many countries, but I love my country and I love my people. What a refreshing way to come back to the depths of something that seems to be what it is, and to really understand it factually. Because there's, as you say, city people talk, but what are the facts and what is the root cause? And what sort of bus is it? Does it have round wheels or square wheels?
Does it have an engine?
Well, the engine is still there because I walked in and the lights are on. And in previous turnarounds, I've found the lights off, the bank in. So, and I know there's this difficulty almost everywhere, but there's parts of this company and every other company that are excelling, despite what you would think, and I've seen that factually because I'm here. But this being day 7, the investigative time, getting to know you personally, coming into this hot seat, is the beginnings of finding out what are the facts actually, and how are people experiencing, and how are people enjoying or suffering for that matter, so that like the good book says that what you reap you sow, and to the joys and to the sorrows that are there in every business or in life. Whatever you put in, you will get back. And I've come here with that intention, to be for you, for society, and for companies, not only Standard, but those others that are struggling. Ours is struggling because it's publicly known, but there's many other companies that have deep struggles that are not publicly known. So, and the courage that we have from people who have raised us is just so high that is it difficult? Take me there. If it was easy, I probably wouldn't have come. Yeah,
I want to do it.
Yeah.
You've done this kind of thing before. You've done turnarounds before.
Yes.
Would you say that there are some basic ingredients in every turnaround job? There are some things that are just, you will have these basic elements as you get into a journey of turning around an organization, a business, a culture, people.
Oh yeah, the first one is people. You find people in a certain way. You find them either discouraged, over discouraged, or a little bit discouraged. You find in that space, people who are really inspiring. I think you guys are inspiring. I'm not flattering you, but you're actually quite inspiring. Look at this product and how inspiring it is. So people are the biggest part of a change process, because I wouldn't do this on my own. I wouldn't, even if I took 1,000 steps alone, I would not move it. I'm just the one that comes as a servant leader and just helps people's ideas to come to fruition, and to listen to every idea and to disseminate those and run them through a funnel of what would work. Because in this case, everything is always urgent. So my learning needs to be fast, so that we can address the urgent issues and then onboard the people in a way that they believe that heritage is important. The lives of people are impacted, of employees and other stakeholders. And I'm just actually busy doing the stakeholder mapping for the Standard Group to see how impacted are all the stakeholders. So the ingredients: people, processes, and then value through the eyes of the customer.
Right. When it comes to people, even when you watch those movies and all, and in a war, when a retreating army is retreating, you'll find that there will be people who will be pointing fingers at one another in the same army. They were fighting together, but now they'll be pointing fingers at, you're the one who didn't hold the line. You're the one who did do this and the other. So you'll find a fragmented group of people. Yes, they are inspired. They'd like to stay alive because there's an army chasing after them. But they have now turned towards one another and start looking at each other and thinking, but why are we retreating? Maybe it's because maybe you're the one who did, not because it's something that I did, but because something that somebody else did. You found that, I'm sure?
Oh yeah, the blame culture is...
so it's a natural thing.
It's natural.
Okay.
And that's the reason why we when I go in, I say why, not who. So you say why did this happen? Honor the history, honor those who are still here, honor the success that has been seen in the past, and then ask yourself why, and that way you're not in blaming anyone. But if you find them blaming each other, all of us have families, all of us are politicians in one way or another.
Yeah.
Because if you've got children and maybe somebody who working in your house, you already are a politician. But I'm not a politician. So the blame culture is existing in your personal life and in your work life and in your public life. So just disseminating that and understanding, okay, let's discuss why other than who, so that we can get to the root cause of the problem quickly, because a problem can only be solved when it is known. And that's my current challenge right now. How do I understand the problem in a way that allows me and the team to find a solution?
We're having a conversation with Marion Mwangi. She is the Group CEO of the Standard Group PLC. Day 7 on the job. Yep. 2,000 and how many to go?
Work it out.
Yeah. So we are talking about her and her journey and, what inspires her, what keeps her going. And, of course, looking at the Standard Group and the media industry in Kenya and what contribution she believes that she can bring to the table.
So, like we said, Marion, media into a space where, things have been difficult in the landscape for the last, as things went from traditional media practice towards a new kind of media practice where things are starting to go digital, and we're still operating in a space where traditional advertising, for example, was the go-to. And they're having to make shifts and pivots, all the new language that has come about. And you're going into a space where then being able to make money has been difficult. Being able to track things has been difficult. And the question is, coming into this space, what is your outlook? What's your plan to say, this is how we're going to bring things together and try to see how we can turn around things? Because, that's one thing you mentioned, being in a situation where things can turn around. What's that thing, essentially, that you would apply or that you would see that how you'd be able to work through with the teams that are currently on ground?
The view and the insights that I have from being here over the last 7 days and preparing to come has been, how do you transition to digital, and how do you transition to what the consumer needs or what the market has asked for or demanded for a long time, and that's generally the work that's on now, understanding what does digital mean in every aspect in the way we deliver news from different platforms. So I'm in this discovery stage, and I've had views on how important it is to transition digital quickly, and also how important it is to provide still a generation that wants to hold a paper or a book.
Yeah.
And the phase after this, and maybe the next couple of weeks, will be, okay, who are the stakeholders, and how do we engage those to actually see value from the eyes of those that are looking for us. But it is not lost to me that the competition and the difficulty in this space is really, really high. Actually, much more than I thought coming through the door. And there must be a way to change it. Ideation is normally not an individual journey; it's a team journey. And I will tap into slices of the company that already have the answers, and slices of experts, that would have the answer, and then lead. Because I think leading is the calling right now. Putting people together and getting their idea to action faster is part of my biggest goal. So day 7, I must come back when I have
Yes.
the full plan.
Yeah.
But I would be lying if I say that I have the exact plan. But the understanding is clear, and I'm very, very happy about what I'm hearing, because everybody is being very open and very, they're speaking danger. So nobody's saying, "Oh, it's okay." They're saying it's bad, very bad. And I like that in this room we have some humor.
Yeah.
Even in these times, there's humor. There's no problem in the world that cannot be resolved.
Indeed.
There's none. I mean, and people have done this before. We just learn from them and just curate our own success stories.
It's interesting because it's almost like a messiah moment, is it not? You must have a lot of expectation on your shoulders in terms of responsibility, because like we said, there are folks who are saying it's bad, and it's a difficult thing. But I mean, and again, because it's public, a lot of what has happened is very public in nature. Right. Everybody knows, everybody knows that the linen is out there. So then to say, okay, well, here's the Messiah, Marion, who's going to come and, essentially sanitize everything. There's issues of payments. People are waiting. Those who've come and gone are saying, okay, we've not been paid. Those who've been, we've not been paid. Those who are saying, well, it's been a while since we've been paid. And the question is, okay, so how is all of that essentially going to be sorted out? It's the Messiah moment, Marion.
Yeah, and the pressure is on. I feel it. But more than that, I've seen the people's faces. I feel the urgency, and I'm with everyone in terms of what is it that they've faced and still come to work and still delivered good products. So the pressure is on. I'm certainly not the Messiah,
well, yeah.
but I bring a lot of goodwill and a strong belief that that there's a lot that can be done when people work together, and there's a lot that can be done when the problem is clearly defined, and it's not on employees, and I know it's stakeholders as well. So the pressure is on. I mean, the way that I deal with pressure, because that's what you find in a turnaround, is to get the facts. And not let it weigh me down too much that I cannot be able to rise.
Correct, yeah.
In fact, the true marking of what leadership is how you rise from failure. So how many times do you rise? And those who haven't fallen may not know, or those who fall and stay down. So I don't fall and stay down. I fall and stand up. And there's a lot of failure.
Segueing from Ndu's comment and the labeling of the Messiah, you see, a righteous man, the Bible says, falls 7 times and rises 7 times. Now that is if one gets biblical. But there's something you mentioned about people who've mentored you, and you singled out someone by the name of Jane Karuku. She's not the only one who mentored you.
Oh, that's true, for sure. That's not.
Yes, and the people who mentored you have brought you to this position where you are the first lady, the first woman to actually lead a media house in this country. We've not had another one.
No, we've had.
Who?
Rose Kimodo, Linda Holt, and others. Publicly listed major media houses.
Eric, that is the beautiful thing of details.
Yes.
Publicly listed media house we've never had.
Yes.
Yes. So you are the first. Now, tell us a little bit about how the role that has been played by the mentors you've had in your life and how it got you to this place where you not only want to be a problem solver, but you want to be someone who turns around problems and makes them into gardens of Eden, so to speak.
Yeah, I like your words. Words there. In fact, let me start from very, very far. The women we've seen as we grew up, our grandmothers. My mother is a strong matriarch who solves problems in a relaxed way, big problems. My paternal grandmother. I mean, the women that I've seen growing up, because they lead by example. They speak less, but they lead by example, and they face a lot of difficulty. So I've had those. And then in my career, there's been a tribe of women. Lina Githuka, the MD of Qual, Rita Kavashe, the Isuzu CEO, a fantastic and light friend. I mean, who brings light into when something is really, really heavy. I could mention all the fast forward women that have been in the Sunny Bindra program, where we've just been vulnerable and called each other wise fools. So that tribe of people, and there's many. I've got Esther Muhaki, who I worked with at Nestle, and many others. And then I've got young people because I've got mentors around me who are young, either through the Palmer's Foundation, a foundation that I've been for 18 years, just doing humanitarian work on kids who wouldn't go to school if the foundation didn't pay, and the ladies there and how strong they are. And then my nieces, Wendy, Jerry, they just say, Auntie, honestly, don't say that in public, and I still do. But they
Wendy, Jerry, you have been mentioned in public.
Yes.
Against your own advice.
Yes, I've got Shani, Modoni. I've got many nieces that are wonderful and open ones. But in the space of people who have been there, there's the global CEO of Cadbury. I met her personally. Do I say?
Yes.
And just her calmness in the midst of takeovers and shutting down businesses around the world is an enduring memory. So there's certainly a lot of people that have been there, and who have actually come to me and said, we're here waiting, and I'm recruiting more. I hope I can recruit and do right now to that tribe of women, because we support each other in a way that men will probably not understand, including.
Eric, have you heard that?
Yeah. Men support each other as well, but sorry guys,
not in this way.
We go deep. We go deep.
Yeah.
See you after this. Yeah. Yes.
So there's a lot that has happened to you to make you the person that you are.
Oh yeah.
And then taking on those roles that are big when you go into a company and you've got to make the tough decisions. Some of those decisions will have to be painful to some people, but then will have to be important and fruitful to the organization, and maybe later to the same people to whom it was painful earlier. Those are decisions that you have to make, you have to live with on a daily basis, and you have to understand, what's the heritage that I'm carrying? What is this organization? What does it stand for? What's the culture around here? How do I carry on the good things, and then maybe the ones that are not working, find a way to cut them off? The Standard Group, like you said, is the oldest media house in this region. Mm-hmm. It has heritage. It has culture. When you talk about Africa being the frontier, the next place where everybody in the world will be looking to, some of the places that they have to look to is the media in these places. So the Standard Group has got to be the one that they look at and see, this one tells us the story of what this continent is all about and the aspirations of the generations in this continent. So it's got to, I'm sure you have that pressure that you've got to make sure that this thing survives.
Yes.
That this thing does not die. You're not doing one of those jobs where you've come to shut down the organization.
No. It's not euthanasia.
No, I'm not a mortician for
You're not a mortician for this particular organization. Yeah. But then there's a lot that's changing, like Ndu was saying earlier. So you're seeing the media landscape is changing. The consumption habits of the consumers are changing. The advertising habits of the traditional advertisers, when you're at Cadbury, when you're at, you are advertising in a different way than they are advertising now. And you've got to find a way that the Standard Group still fits in that. The political landscape keeps changing. The government now says, well, how do we advertise through the media? We have to have different ways of advertising, or even different ways of paying the media. So there are very many things that are changing in this landscape. And you have the role of making sure that the big media house does not collapse so that the other small media houses also survive. Okay. Then 100 days. What do you want us to ask you? Because we'll invite you here for after the 100 days, after the 3 months of you sitting and doing the deep learning, and after you've learned, what do you want us to ask you?
Eric, let me first address that. What the burdenness, because then I want to live here with less burdened. Because I also have an objective. The thing about turnarounds is that there's people who may leave the business or who may join. But what I've found in the many times that I've done this sort of work is just to give people dignity. And dignity is in many forms because it means different things to different people. People just want to know, to have to be told honestly, and also to be given some humanness. I want to claim it like as women we do have that humane way of doing tough things, but we do tough things and leave people feeling dignified, because the last thing you want to do is destroy a man, destroy a woman, destroy a family, and leave them with no option but to just stay down. So they need to just rise up 8 times if they've fallen 7. But then in the next 100 days when I come back, I would like to just share the priorities, the situation, and the hope around the space which we are in even now, and what is to be done. And what I've gathered from the deep dives into what the actual situation is, and the root causes and how we will address them. Not long conversations, but what would be the top 3 or top 4 things that we will do. But even as I'm here, I'd like to ask for support from these corporates, all the stakeholders, to allow the business to thrive, to allow the business to stand up. Because we are going into sports now, so don't knock a man when they are down. Just let them stand up, because when they stand up, the whole society will benefit. This company that's been here a long time, when we stand up, the entire society will benefit. So when I come knocking at doors of the corporates, of banks, all the people who we interact with, I will be hoping that they will see us in that light, that our intention is to rise up and to rise up strong, and the whole society will benefit. So that's what I would come and say in 100 days. And they can start doing that now. I don't have to wait for 100 days.
Already?
Just already support us.
Brian Wiseman says, I like her already.
Yes.
Brian Wiseman says, I like her already.
Yeah.
Now, speak to the other stakeholders, because we have got the advertisers, you've got the other partners who have worked with this organization, who may be sitting back and thinking, from what we are seeing in the media, in the blogs, what we are seeing about this organization, we are just not sure how to engage with this organization. What do you tell them? I know you've just passed on a slight message. Now speak to them directly. What would you like to take the major stakeholders that have supported this business over the very many years?
Is to tell them the lights are on, and we want to switch. They're not switched off, because intentionally not off, and we do need that extra. Is it leniency or just
Grace?
Grace. Yes, grace. I like the word grace. The biggest leader and the leader that I emulate from is it was Jesus himself. I mean, he was like a fantastic leader, allowing everybody to be who they are and still calling them to a message that we still believe today. Just give us grace, trust that we want to succeed. I have had a history of great success. I wouldn't have come here by error. I evaluated this decision, and people also trust people, but. This organization is going to rise. And for the other advertising agencies, come, let's have conversations on how we can work together, even now, on helping, on coming together a giant. A giant doesn't fall quietly. So you don't want us to break the whole floor and nobody can walk afterwards. So let's come together. My office is open and really open to people who want to come and express frustration, but also who want to move forward to another era or another era, depending on where you come from, of sustaining and doing the right thing, correcting the wrongs, keeping what is good, taking another corner or turning around the bus to another destination.
The government is a big stakeholder.
Yes.
Not address the government directly.
Yes.
Government owes us money.
Huge.
A lot of
amounts
money.
I suppose the government is also in a situation. I have. I said earlier, I love my country. So, and I love my government because the government also needs to be successful for all of us to be successful. So I also empathize with them. So I ask them also to empathize with us in many ways, including what you've mentioned, Eric, but also in just allowing us our freedoms, allowing us to be the voice of society in the way that we want to be, and knowing that when they also do well, we do well. So we're hoping the government also does very well.
We are also applying that 1,000-day principle here. Because there's a word that Kenyans use, kuzoeana.
Right.
If we let that 1,000-day lapse and we do not communicate to all these people we deal with, and the issues that we have are not communicated, it'll be lost in time.
You're right, Siti. And that's probably why we do a roadshow. I'm going to top stakeholders as soon as they're mapped to say the same things I'm saying to you today, and to be consistent in the amount of resilience that we've built, or I have built, or the company has, because of being here for such a long time. So it will not lapse before some action is done, and if it's painful, it will be with dignity. Yeah.
Lamek says, if, like you said, the shop is open, it means that there's something to sell. Yes, indeed, there is something to sell.
Yes.
And he says, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Many of the comments that have come in wishing you all the best and saying, yes, the 1,000 days, the journey, it's a tough job that you've taken, but you decided, I want to get in there and find out what the issue is and see if I can do it. All the best.
Thank you very much.
See you back
Eric.
here in the next... 93 days. You're on your 7th.
Yeah, 93 and a half. Just the morning is gone.
Yes, the morning is gone.
Yeah.
Marion Mwangi is the Group CEO of the Standard Group PLC. She's given us our first interview to introduce her to the public as well. And keep it here for more conversations.
This is The Situation Room, the only way to start your day.